in as little as 4 days. Use it to pay off bills, finish a renovation, or simply get ready for the new year. Just go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
The wave in Spain brings death to a group of swimmers.
A powerful wave killed 4 people and left 1 missing at a popular seawater pool on Spain's Tenerife Island. The pool is known for its volcanic rock and cement barriers and can be dangerous during rough seas. Local media reports a weather advisory was in effect, and one said the pool had been closed for almost a week. This man says swimmers ignore warnings. He says the danger is indeed signposted, but nowadays the issue of taking selfies and all that, well, it's happening. Accidents everywhere in the world. The local mayor says as we ask people to pay attention to the signage put up by authorities. I'm Ed Donahue.
The International Monetary Fund has approved the release of $1.2 billion to Pakistan. Gives the cash-strapped country a boost as it works to recover from one of its worst economic crises in years. News and analysis at townhall.com. You might say they were out to retrieve a record.
Dog lovers gathering Monday in Argentina in an attempt to set a world's record for the most golden retrievers ever assembled in one park. The old record, 1,685. As the furry friends entered the park, it seemed for a while like the old record was safe. But as the day wore on, the golden retrievers just kept coming in, and it's a new record. 2,397 golden retrievers in one park at the same time. Jason Walker reporting.
Warner Brothers Discovery's friendly agreement to sell itself to Netflix has gotten upended by a hostile actor. Paramount has made Warner shareholders a higher offer, and it's touching off what is likely to be a lengthy fight in the latest episode of media industry consolidation. More on these stories, townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Good morning, and welcome to the John Fredericks Radio Network. We are indeed broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. It is Tuesday morning, December 9th, 2025. It's time for the Morning Rundown, brought to you by the Glock Store, glockstore.com. Located just a few miles from the airport, right here in Nashville, Tennessee. So here we go. Here's the morning rundown for Tuesday, December 9th, 2025, brought to you by the Glock Store. Number 1, Jasmine Crockett is running for the United States Senate in Texas. Donald Trump called her low IQ. We're going to play her opening advertisement, which is, I don't know, vanity, hubris. We'll see. You'll see. Number 2, John Fredericks, the one, the only John Fredericks, is at the Indiana State Capitol, where yesterday a Rhino state senator was crying about redistricting. Really? Yeah, it really was. It's kind of hard to believe. But John should be with us in our next segment, if all goes well. Number 3, at the Supreme Court, the worst Supreme Court justice in American history, Ketanji Brown Jackson, you know, the one who doesn't know what a woman is. She is trying to reinvent the Constitution, saying that, no, the president can't fire executive department appointees because, you know, they are the nonpartisan experts because they have PhDs from Ivy League colleges. I kid you not. Number 4, Donald Trump is going out and barnstorming on the stump about the economy. He'll be in Pennsylvania today. A couple of Tennessee stories. Number 5, you know, we've got a red state, but some blue cities. And Memphis and Nashville are well-known blue cities, but Knoxville is also a blue city. Knox County is red, but Knoxville itself is blue. And the Board of Education there said, we want all illegal alien children to be able to come to school for free. Well, I don't think so. I think you're going to see a change in the Tennessee General Assembly. There will be a challenge to the Supreme Court decision, Plyler v. Doe, which forced school districts to pay for illegal aliens who come to school. Now, that'll be a state law. It'll be challenged to the Supreme Court. It'll go up to the Supreme Court. I think it'll win. Tennessee's new law, which hasn't been passed yet, will win in the Supreme Court. Number 6, E.J. Haas joins us in hour 2. Number 7, Tom Pappert will join us in hour 3. And number 8, we've got Metro Nashville suing the Trump administration for changes in federal housing policy. Color me shocked on that one. So there you go. That is the morning rundown for Tuesday, December 9th, 2025. Brought to you by my very good friend at the Glock store, the CEO and founder, Lenny McGill. I hope you got a chance to take advantage of the great Black Friday prices last month. But if you didn't, don't worry. The Christmas sales are right around the corner, and they will be phenomenal. Some might even say they'll be huge. And, of course, I'll let you know as soon as I start. But if you're looking for an excuse to visit GlockStore.com right now, I've got a great excuse for you. As you know, Lenny McGill is not only known as That Glock Guy, he's also known as the Glock Giveaway Guy. And for December, they've doubled down. Go to GlockStore.com and buy a tactical Christmas tree sticker or patch or a red dot reindeer sticker or patch, and you're automatically entered to win either a G45 or G47, both nicely equipped, including with Vortex optics. Or you can go to GlockStore.com/VTGG, that's for Vortex 2-gun giveaway, and get the complete details, including the no purchase entry instructions. That's from my good friend, CEO and founder of the Glock Store, Lenny McGill, and this month's Vortex 2 Glock giveaway sweepstakes, only at GlockStore.com. So there you go. Okay. I told you there's the problem with the Rhino, the pre-Trump hangovers in the Republican Party is they just don't want to fight. They want to surrender. Rhino Republicans are like the surrender French army, right? And what's going on in redistricting is it's a pure power play. The Supreme Court has made it very clear that political gerrymandering, which has been around in this country for 2 centuries, is allowable. You can't gerrymander, redraw a district based upon racial preferences, but political gerrymandering is there. And the Democrats have been doing it for a long time. They did it in Massachusetts. You know, there are, 9 members of the House from Massachusetts. Not one of them is a Republican. And Trump got, 40% of the vote there? So basically, there's a long tradition of states determining how they will apportion. Early on in the Republic, some states just had a winner-take-all. And that's kind of where we're going to right now, because the red states are going to gerrymander politically for red state candidates, and the blue states are going to gerrymander for blue state candidates. John Fredericks is up in Indiana, the state capital, yesterday, where the state Senate is considering whether or not to go with a new redistricting that will add 2 Republican seats. They're 7-2 now. They'd be 9-0. This report, you got to listen to it. Here's John Fredericks yesterday at the Indiana State Capitol.
So we're live at the state capitol. We're in the Senate chambers getting ready to go in 12:30. And there are about, 300 or so protesters chanting upstairs, waiting to get into the Senate chamber. I would say virtually 100% of them are opposed to redistricting. They're chanting, no cheating. They're holding signs. Just give you a little panoramic view. You can see some of the signs going on here at the state capitol, all of them negative on redistricting. You can see the place is packed. I've yet to see one sign in favor of it. And look, this is a highly organized.
Yeah, it's highly organized, as John says. We should hear from him in the next segment if all goes well. And there's been some changes there. This is reminiscent. Remember when the teachers' unions back in 2012, 2013 jammed the Wisconsin State Capitol to try to get some changes that were more union-friendly done, and they got, they lost, but it was a big battle. Yeah, that's very similar to what's going on in Indiana right now. By the way, those protesters, they're pretty much all paid protesters, which gets me to the point of, if you are a college graduate today, probably the number one way to get an easy job is to go out and get paid to be a protester at Democrat events. That's the growth industry right now. Apparently, if you got a degree in gender studies, that's all you can do. Okay. Also, there was a Supreme Court hearing yesterday on whether or not the president can fire heads of independent agencies. Ketanji Brown Jackson is reinterpreting the Constitution. Here we go with her. Clip 2.
Some issues, some matters, some areas should be handled in this way by nonpartisan experts. That Congress is saying that expertise matters with respect to aspects of the economy and transportation and the various independent agencies that we have. So having a president come in and fire all the scientists and the doctors and the economists and the PhDs and replacing them with loyalists and people who don't know anything.
Okay, so, obviously she failed to read the part of the Constitution that said it's the president's duty to enforce the laws. And all of her, quote, nonpartisan experts are biased left-wing Ivy League grads. And the, quote, loyalists who don't know anything actually are people who are implementing the president's policies. Hey, if all goes well, when we come back, we'll have John Fredericks live from Indianapolis, Indiana at the state capitol with details on the highly controversial political redistricting battle. Back after this.
Ponder this, Judgment Day, the day you go before the Lord face to face. For many of us, this day seems like a long way away, and we are told that all of us will be in a better place when we die. What many of us forget is that our God is a God of justice. On Judgment Day, you will stand before the Lord and account for all of your thoughts, words, and actions during your time here on earth. You might be thinking that you're not such a bad dude, you didn't kill anyone, and you went to church every now and then, so you've earned your ticket to heaven. Hold that thought, as the Lord has told us what we need to get through those pearly gates. We must believe in Him, be baptized, follow Him by keeping His commandments, love Him, and love our friends and enemies. It doesn't matter how much knowledge you possess, how many awards or accolades are on your resume, or how much money you have, nor how high you are on the ladder of success. Judgment Day is real, and you are not judged by a jury of your peers. Prepare each day for Judgment Day. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Fight violent crime. The Safer Supervision Act cuts bureaucratic waste and frees up law enforcement.
Paying for more. Why? The cost is all that data. If you're not using the data, you're probably being used. Big wireless customers get stuck paying hundreds and even thousands more for years and years because they think it's hard to switch. Not with us. It takes just about 20 minutes and you can change your plan anytime without extra charges. We use the same towers as the big guys, so you'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Our plans start at just $20 a month, and for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
We are joined by the great John Fredericks, who is live at the Indiana State Capitol in Indianapolis, Indiana, where they're talking about redistricting. Hey, John, what's the deal with the crying rhino state senator up there? John, what's the deal there? Can you hear me, John?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Sorry, I was just got on a little bit late here. Thanks for having me on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We're live in Indianapolis, Indiana, right outside the state capitol. So here's where we are right now, Mike. And let me just tell you that you got my head cut off, so you might want to go up a bit there.
You're looking much better now.
trying to get the camera right. Okay, thank you. So let me tell you where we are. Let me tell you the good news. The good news is that it got out. The redistricting plan got out of the Senate Elections Committee yesterday by a 6-3 vote. The 3 swing voters all voted yes to get out of committee. They all had to caveat their vote and make a little statement saying that this was not indicative of their final vote, that they wanted it to be vetted more, ask questions more, have more comment, have more discussion, have more debate. They didn't want to cut it off.
Right? Just
bingo.
Good grief.
Yes. But we expect that those 3 are going to vote in favor of this because it would be very difficult to vote this out of committee and then vote no.
Yeah.
And they would be singled out. And I don't think that Linda Rogers or Stacey Dorio or Greg Good, the 3 voters that did that, are going to want that coming down on them. So I feel pretty good about that. But look, I mean, this is a fierce battle, Mike. I was there. I got there yesterday at the State House at 12 o'clock. The rotunda had 350, 400 people in it. 95% of those were protesters against this, nasty signs, nasty people. Many of them I asked, how'd you get here? AFL-CIO, Planned Parenthood.
They're all paid. They're paid. That's their job, right?
They're paid to take the day off and go protest. Signs were nasty. It's just these are fierce. I mean, and I keep telling these Republicans around the country, if you're not in this and you aren't ready to pull the bazooka out and lock and load, you're going to get your head blown off. I mean, these people, they smell victory. They smell a communist takeover. They smell it and they see it. And so they're going for it. And we gotta be able to stand up to them. We got it out of committee. Now here's the deal. We need 26 votes in order for this to pass. We believe now 24 solid. Now look, somebody could flip back and change. It might go down to 23. But right now we feel we got 24 votes solid. We need 2 votes. We need to get to 26. 25 doesn't cut it, because one Democrat opposed to it or one Republican opposed to it will hold their vote until the end. And if they walk out without voting and we're stuck at 25, the lieutenant governor cannot break the tie we lose. So you got to get to 26 votes. We think we're at 24. We need another 2 votes. There's probably 4 people that are still on the bubble. So we're going to have to get 2 out of the 4. 2 of them are harder than the other 2. So basically the 2 that are not hardcore, and I'm not going to give their names, because if I do, then the opposition will jump on them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not going to do that. I know who they are, but I'm not going to give that over the air to give the opposition cover. We got to get these 2 votes. They got to understand how high these stakes are. And a lot of the nonsense that went on yesterday, I mean, you got to be kidding me. I mean, we had the vice chair was up there yesterday, Greg Walker, and he's up there crying.
So the rhino Greg Walker was crying.
It was 3 times. He gave a rebuttal, and 3 times he broke down and cried. Like, I'm sitting there in a hearing. It's like 7 o'clock at night. Been there since noon. He's cried 3 times. Look, I understand you're emotional. I understand what's going on. But, I mean, dude, you're telling me about how can he face his grandchildren, telling them I didn't stand up for democracy in Indiana. And it's like, dude, the communists are at your door. They want to take over and kill you. That's basically what you're looking at. They want to impeach the president. They want to open the borders. They want Somalia flags in Minnesota. What are you talking about? Talking to your grandchildren and crying about democracy. This is how ridiculous this thing is with these I don't even know how they get to be Republicans, right? So this is what we're fighting. Guys crying on the dais, making speeches in ears, and 350 paid protesters, and we had 10. I mean, it's just if you're not ready for this battle, and Mike, they know the stakes are high, right? Democrats understand. This is not, you say, why are you getting so upset over 2 votes, 2 seats? Mike, it's not 2 seats. 2 gets you 20. Because if we get this done, and when I came in here on Tuesday, our chances of getting this through were less than 25%. I mean, this thing was a long shot because of the votes in the past, and it couldn't even get out of committee, right? So it got shut down. So it was a long shot bid when Mike Braun called another special session, and it's 50-50 now. But the bottom line is it's not 2, it's 20, because we pass this. It's going to give backbone and spine to other Republican state houses around the country that have the wherewithal to do this, to do it and get in this fight, Mike. Because if we get in this fight and we can get this redistricting done, and the chairman of the Senate Elections Committee, Mike Askell, who did a phenomenal job, by the way, can't say enough good things about him. He's fair, he's honest. We let everybody talk. He's a good guy. But at the end of the day, he gave everybody a chance to explain their vote. He voted to get it out of committee, voted aye, and he said, I want to save America. That's all he said. That's what this thing is about. Saving America. It's not about what map and whose street is in Marion County, which they were going over. And of course, at the end, I waited. I knew it was coming. 2 Democrats are there. They're asking questions. They're being professional. It's all nice. Kumbaya. Let's go roast marshmallows. Let's have a discussion. This is the Indiana way. Then when they came to their final statement, here it comes. This map is racist. This is the Ku Klux Klan without the robes. This is basically disenfranchising people of color. This is basically splitting up Indianapolis so they have no representation. This is about white people. It came. This is Jim Crow 2.0. It came. And now that's what you're going to hear. They can't win the argument, so they got to go back to that's all they got. And but look, all the stops are being pulled out. I'm proud of the White House. They're in the game, and they're playing hardball. Finally, we're going to a tank fight with bazookas, finally, instead of a pop gun or a butter knife. And what they're saying is, look, Indiana, we give you a ton of money. We've got USDA hubs, means thousands of jobs for you, a lot more money. We've targeted Indiana. Guess what? You vote no, have a nice day. They're going somewhere else. Hey, guess what else? You want to vote no? You like your job? You like being in the state Senate? You like your car with a nice license plate on it, your nice office, you got a staff, right? You better find another line of work, because we got $1.2 billion, and we're going to go to Indiana, and we're going to primary every last one of you with multi-7-figure buys. Hey, we just got Chris LaCivita a permanent hotel at the JW Marriott downtown. He's going to love Indiana. Basically what they're saying. So the pressure's on both sides, but right now, Mike, it is touch and go, 50-50. So lace them up and lace them tight, Mike.
When you talk to that whining rhino who talks about his grandchildren, remind him that political gerrymandering is part of democracy, as the Supreme Court has said for years and years and years. And John Fredericks, I want to thank you for going up there and being the voice of America first and rallying the legislators there to this very important vote. So thank you, John, for all you've done and for all the energy you've put into this. You, John Fredericks, have made a difference.
Well, Mike, thank you. And as Ann always says, if not us, who? If not now, when? I mean, that's
right now is the
basically
time.
And now's the time. And if you're not going to get in the game, like, somebody was telling me about Greg Walker that was crying yesterday and about his grandchildren. He said, well, he lost his wife and he's not the same guy. Well, retire then.
Yeah,
get out.
Retire. Get out.
Get out.
Cry.
I'm sorry you lost your wife.
Tell him.
Get out.
Tell him to go up to Minneapolis with his Somali flag and cry all he wants. John Fredericks, thanks so much for joining us today.
I'm going to tell him that.
Tell him that.
That's
See you,
good.
John. See you, John.
Michael Patrick Leahy, baby, on fire.
See you, John. Thanks for that great report. All right, we'll be back with the Supreme Court decision coming on whether or not the president can fire members of the executive branch. The Constitution says he can. What does Ketanji Brown Jackson say? Back after this.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio's team looks at your taxes after they're done, but before you file them with the IRS. He doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now. Hi, folks. John Fredericks here. Republicans got blown out on Tuesday. You can't even spin this, but here's what we got to do. We got to fight back and double down. We got a communist mayor in New York City. We got a left-wing socialist as governor of Virginia. The list goes on. But listen, we got Jay Jones in there, basically wants to shoot people in the head because he doesn't agree with them. But we got to fight back. I'm tripling down, and you want to tune me in. We got a plan, and we're going to work it. All right here on the John Fredericks Media Network, 6 to 10 a.m., Monday to Friday. Get me right here. Follow me on social media at JF Radio Show. Let's roll.
Is your pet ready for some possum fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
My fellow Americans, I have to tell you about my good friends at D.T. McCall & Sons. They have furniture and appliances and a lot more. They've been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years, and they're not going to rip you off. No hidden charges, no delivery charges, no charges for all of the crazy things. These are sick people at the lumber yards. These are very sick people. They charge you for cords and hoses and haul off. They charge you for all of these things. They call them hidden charges. It's the type of surprise that you don't want to see. It's like an October surprise, but it's worse. D.T. McCall & Sons, they're not going to do that. They're great people. They're going to give you a great deal. With locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, D.T. McCall & Sons will give you the deal of your life. Check them out today or go to dtmccalls.com.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Well, the Supreme Court heard arguments yesterday on a case that would overturn a precedent which would allow the President of the United States to fire heads of independent agencies. The case that is about to possibly be overturned is called Humphrey's Executor v. United States. This was a 1935 case that established that Congress can limit the president's power to remove heads of independent regulatory agencies, such as the Federal Trade Commission. William Humphrey, got fired by the FTC, and after he got fired, he passed away. And so his executor, the executor of his state, sued for back pay. And the 1935 Supreme Court ruled that President Roosevelt could not fire the head of the FTC because they had quasi-legislative and quasi-executive function. Now, that was a very bad decision. But we've been stuck with it since 1935. Yesterday, Trump has fired some independent agencies' heads, and they're citing Humphrey's executor as the precedent why they should be restored. And Senator Mike Lee was there at the argument. And here's a clip from him describing what happened there. Clip 4.
I just finished watching arguments at the Supreme Court in a case involving the constitutionality of president's authority to fire executive branch bureaucrats. Now, Article 2 of the Constitution vests the president with the executive power and also the responsibility to execute the laws. When the president sees that the laws aren't being implemented consistent with what he deems appropriate, he should be able to fire them. And that's what the Constitution contemplates. There's a Supreme Court ruling from about 100 years ago called Humphrey's Executor. And Humphrey's Executor says that the president can't fire those employees, especially if they're part of certain multi-member lawmaking and law enforcement commissions that are sort of a hybrid. The Supreme Court appears dissatisfied with that, and it looks like there are 5, probably 6 justices who are ready to strike down Humphrey's executor. It would be a good day for America and for the Constitution if they did that. Look forward to seeing how the court decides this in a few months.
Well, there you go. Yeah, that's a quick summary of it. Senator Mike Lee is a constitutional attorney. He's now I think he's a senior senator from Utah. And we have a more extensive discussion from Lee about this case, and I think he's going to reference the ridiculous argument made by the worst Supreme Court justice in history, Ketanji Brown Jackson, which said, no, we need to have experts, nonpartisan experts running these agencies that are part of the executive branch. They're not nonpartisan, and they're expertly wrong many times, and they oppose implementation of the president's policy. Here was Mike Lee in a lengthier interview about this case yesterday on Stephen K. Bannon's War Room.
Look, the stakes are high, Steve. In this case, we're dealing with the president's ability to be the president, to act as the president. The fundamental premise of Article 2 of the Constitution is that all the executive power within the U.S. government is vested in the president. The president of the United States, a single individual, is the executive branch. And what that means is that he can undertake what an executive does for the entire U.S. government and should be able to fire anyone, any employee of the executive branch, any officer, certainly, of the executive branch, save only the vice president because the vice president is also elected on the same ticket as the president. So that person can't be fired mid-term, but everyone else should be able to. And certainly any officer wielding policy authority, making decisions, enforcing the laws, as is the prerogative of the executive branch, those people should always be removable by the president for any reason or no reason at all. We've got a nearly 100-year-old precedent, a case called Humphrey's Executor, which concludes that it's okay to have a special carve-out for a de facto fourth branch of government within the executive branch that's untouchable by the president. That is lawless. It's led to a long train of abuses, and it's a big problem. And I think that by the end of this term, the Supreme Court is very likely to undo Humphrey's Executor.
You're saying this is the president going after the administrative state and deconstructing the administrative state. We already had the case on the Chevron, I guess, exemption, but this is actually on the Article 2 argument where he can actually go in and let people go. And what this really gets down to, correct me if I'm wrong, is Russ Vought as his OMB director talking about RIFs, talking about not just taking out the head of the FTC or some of these people that are so controversial at the top in these alphabet agencies, but this is really the president actually being the executive and determining that, hey, I'm going to get rid of these people over USAID. What is the scale of what we're talking about?
Yeah, good question, Steve. This certainly relates to all people within the executive branch. I think an opinion could easily go that far. This case doesn't necessarily require it to go that far because this case deals specifically with members of the Federal Trade Commission. President Trump fired Commissioner Slaughter earlier this year. Not for cause, as the statute contemplates. The statute contemplates that once somebody has been nominated by a president, confirmed by the Senate, that they serve for a term of years, and until that term is up, they can be removed basically only if they commit a crime or something like that, or some kind of wrongdoing or complete malfeasance in office. But my point is that when the president designates officers of the U.S. government, that should go along with the same mindset that allows the president to fire anyone of those individuals for any reason or no reason at all. In other words, they serve at the pleasure of the president. That's how it ought to work. Certainly with an officer as important, as powerful as a federal trade commissioner.
You've been a student of watching this court, explaining it to us. Do you see? I think we've won 21 of 23 or 22 of 24 at the Supreme Court, and it seems like the Roberts Court is going out of its way to say we're not the Warren Court, we're not going to be interventionists, and that they continue to say in some of their opinions these are political issues and it should be settled politically. Do you still see the trend line on that, sir?
I do. Look, in my lifetime, we have not seen a Supreme Court that is more dedicated to the rule of law, that's more dedicated to the idea that the law has meaning. Its meaning is established based on the words and how they were used, how they were understood by the public at the time of their enactment. And answering a legal question, deciding a legal dispute, necessarily is going to turn on what those words mean and how they were understood by the public at the time they became law. And that sort of thing, while it may sound obvious to us today, it has not always been obvious. And in our lifetime, we've had a lot of judges who haven't gone in that direction. This court, I believe, is going to continue as it has so far to make decisions based on what the law actually says.
And I think he makes a very good argument as to where this is going now. One of the usual six kind of conservatives, originalists in the court today is Neil Gorsuch. And he, of course, is a Trump appointee. Here is some questioning that he had yesterday in that case. Let's go ahead with the...
just want to explore just for a brief minute, I hope, your scintilla of conclusive and preclusive power theory. You agree, I assume, the president is vested with all the executive power.
Yes.
You agree that he has a duty to faithfully execute all the laws.
Yes.
Civil and criminal.
We agree that the Constitution imposes on the president a duty to faithfully execute the laws.
All
Absolutely.
the laws.
Well,
some laws he doesn't have to. That'd be news to our friends across the street.
The take care clause is a duty, and it is also a power. But the text of the clause does not provide that the president must have at-will presidential.
I didn't ask that. This is, does he have a duty to faithfully execute all the laws?
We know from.
Yes or no?
I would say no in the sense.
No.
In the sense that let me. There's two different questions, and I want to make sure that I'm answering the question.
The question is, does the president have a duty to faithfully execute all the laws? The answer is no. Why?
So he can't break the law for sure. For sure. Does he have to be vested with statutory authority to actually directly enforce, or to exercise?
I'm not asking whether he has to bring the indictment. I'm asking whether he has a duty to faithfully execute the laws.
I think the president does not, under both history and tradition, have to have plenary power of supervision. But in the case of the FTC, he does have some power of supervision, including if there's a demonstrable, palpable violation of law, the president could absolutely fire a commissioner of the FTC under the plain language of the statute.
So the answer is no, I guess. But you say that he has to have direct supervision and removal authority for someone who has conclusive and exclusive authority to bring criminal prosecutions, right?
That is our understanding of this court's decision in Trump v. United States.
That's your understanding?
Yes.
But not civil?
That's right. And to go back to earlier.
And then just to be clear, so that means if the government wants to bring a misdemeanor, that person has to be reportable to the president. But if the government wants to bring ruinous fines and penalties and injunctions, that person doesn't.
I don't know the scope of this court's holding in Trump v. United States.
I'm asking you for your theory, because it's a very interesting theory. You're building off of two words from Trump versus United States and putting a gloss on it that I'm not familiar with. I'd understood the executive power, and he has preclusive authority of that. But this line, I don't know where it comes from. And I'm wondering, I'll be honest, I'll put my cards on the table. Maybe it's a recognition that Humphrey's executor was poorly reasoned, and that there is no such thing in our constitutional order as a fourth branch of government that's quasi-judicial and quasi-legislative. And maybe you're trying to backfill it with a better new theory that itself recognizes that we've got a problem.
The theory that we are referring to, Justice Gorsuch, as we understand it, is not just based on this court's recent decision.
So let me tell you what you never want to be. You never want to be on the other end of questioning from Judge Neil Gorsuch when he thinks you're wrong. That was a devastating takedown, and I think that was the far-left leading attorney, Neil Katyal, I think, former Solicitor General under Obama. I think that's who it was. And boy, did he, you know how Gorsuch's going to vote, and he's right. Get rid of Humphrey's executor. You can't have a special exemption for an independent agency commissioner who's quasi-legislative, quasi-executive. We'll have more when we get back. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We have brought in our official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, E.J. Haas. Had to bring you in early today,
Yeah,
E.J.
a little early.
Because the Saturday Night Live caricature of the worst political ad in history is Jasmine Crockett. Hubris, thy name is Jasmine Crockett. And this opening ad, now, if you're just listening on radio, it's going to be a little hard. But if you're watching on X Live or Roku TV or YouTube or Apple TV or Fire Stick, why don't you just describe the ad itself? You're going to hear Donald Trump criticizing Jasmine Crockett.
Well, listen, she's obviously had some facials. Her hair looks amazing. No, she looks very, very pretty. I mean, she's a very attractive woman.
Glammed up.
And yes, fully glammed up, plain dark background. She's kind of at, you see a side profile of her looking very serious, blinking slowly.
Blinking her eyes slowly.
Right. So it's very dramatic, you know. Obviously, we were going for some sort of, like mass drama. Like she wants big drama. But this is how she announces her Senate campaign against Ken Paxton in Texas.
And John Cornyn is the incumbent.
Well, yeah. I mean, more than likely Ken Paxton. But yes, you're correct. But there's still a primary.
And she edged out Colin Allred. Colin Allred, who was going to run for Senate.
Yeah.
So, Jasmine is coming in with all that money from, the lunatics in L.A. and San Francisco and Boston and New York.
Yeah, because God forbid, somebody's Senate run should be just the money from their own state.
Okay, we'll play it now. And again, if you're listening to the radio, just envision this all glammed up Jasmine Crockett looking so self-important. And then at the very end, she turns to the camera and crosses her arms and looks determined.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Let's play it right now. Here we go.
How about this new one they have? Their new star, Crockett. How about her? She's the new star of the Democrat Party, Jasmine Crockett. They're in big trouble.
But you have this woman, Crockett. She's a very low IQ person.
I watched her speak the other day. She's definitely a low IQ person. Crockett. Oh, man, oh, man. She's a very low IQ person.
Somebody said the other day she's one of the leaders of the party. I said, you got to be kidding.
Now they're going to rely on Crockett. Crockett's going to bring them back.
And that at the end, when they say they're going to rely on Crockett, Crockett's going to bring him in. So then she crosses her. It's very clear.
Dramatic.
That
dramatic.
She's very crosses her arms, looks, and then smiles.
Mm-hmm.
This is so Hollywood drama.
But it is, but it's such a backfire. Like, what a weird thing to do. So in my head, I've got this Saturday Night Live skit all mapped out. So call me, Lauren Michaels, if you guys need to kind of,
how would you do this skit?
So basically you'd have, Jasmine Crockett in some sort of an interview with the news person, maybe like a Welker or something, right? And they're like, do you think it was a good idea to use Donald Trump criticizing you where she replies in her best, I don't even know what do you call her?
Phony ghetto accent?
Yeah, I guess. And it is phony, and speaks in some words that we don't understand. And Welker turns to her and says, but does Trump have a point? And just keep pushing and pushing and pushing at it. And then finally, she gets frustrated and walks off. But I can't imagine this isn't the most hilarious Senate announcement ever.
In
Senate
history.
campaign
Yeah.
announcement ever. It says nothing good about her. She's not trying to sell herself.
Well, she is trying to say, look at how glamorous I am.
Yeah, I'm beautiful. Vote for me. Donald Trump hates me. What? Yes, Donald Trump thinks you're a moron. He doesn't say she's dangerous. It would be one thing if he was like, she's a dangerous leader of the Democrat Party. We have to be worried about her. Things like that would make sense. But he's just ripping on her. She's a very low IQ person. And then her speech last night. I honestly, I need a Jasmine Crockett to English dictionary. I don't know what she's saying most of the time.
Just paraphrase.
Yeah,
What'd she say?
just silliness. They don't think we can do this, and I don't speak that weird jargon, so I don't get it. But honestly, remember years ago when she first came on the scene, she went to a super elite, very expensive private school that taught her how to speak intelligently.
Well, she went to an expensive private high school in St. Louis.
Yes.
And then she went to Rhodes College.
Right.
Which is where Amy Coney Barrett went. Very expensive private college in Memphis.
Yeah,
very expensive.
Very expensive. And quite honestly, one of the few schools that are still pumping out smart people. So you can't look at this and be like, okay, back when she graduated, that was just a cruddy school where kids can't pass math. No. That's not true.
Yeah.
She has the best of education and has flipped a conscious decision to change her way of speaking.
I think we have that speech. And so when we come back after the news, we'll have the speech. And Benny Johnson did a deep dive on her background.
That I want to hear.
Yeah. Back with E.J. Haust after this.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
In studio, official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, E.J. Host. You know, we're a political commentary program, but it feels like we are a comedy critique today.
Today we are.
Because Jasmine Crockett.
My favorite DJ, Jazzy Crockett. Jazzy C.
Hubert.
DJ Jazzy C.
What is it? I think the the Marxists are going for glammed up young Marxists.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it, you've got Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. They glammed up Afton Payne.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Made her put on red lipstick and everything.
Did the Dolly Parton? I'm trying to be Dolly Parton, rhinestone cowgirl outfit. It's hilarious. And then, of course, you got Zoran Mamdani. I'm young, I'm cool. Look at me.
Yeah.
Of course, he can't bench press 135 pounds, but my point is that it seems that their strategy is to get young, attractive,
effeminate people.
Glammed up.
Effeminate people.
Good
and
point.
that includes the men. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you wouldn't see a boxer. You wouldn't see a Conor McGregor.
Right, a UFC fighter.
No.
I mean, you don't we even have Sylvester Stallone, y'all. Like we have
come
Rocky. So, yeah.
There you go. Okay, so now you were mentioning this speech she gave.
Oh, it's a hoot.
Last night. We just happened to get a little bit of it. Let's play it now for our audience, and then I'll get your critique on it. Here is Jasmine Crockett announcing she's running for the United States Senate last night.
When Texas turns blue, it won't be because of any one candidate, but because of each and every one of you doing your part. Turning Texas blue is what I want to talk to y'all about today. Now, there are those that say, ain't no way, we done tried it 50 kinds of ways.
What?
Let me be clear, y'all ain't never tried it the JC way. We used to telling us what I can't do. But they have no idea what Crockett's crew will do. And so I just want to be clear, for all the haters in the back, listen up real loud. We gonna get this thing done.
Okay, wait.
Okay, so just pause it for a moment. Is there more, Patrick? No, that was it.
Oh,
okay.
man, that is just too funny. Please make that an SNL skit. We got to get that on loop. Like, we've been told I can't.
Okay, what we're going to do is, as we discuss, Patrick, cue that up again, because we just have to. We have to play it again, but do the analysis here.
Yeah, I mean, she starts off speaking very slow so that everybody can understand, and she articulates blue, right?
Blue.
When Texas turns blue, which of course is just the silliest thing ever. Like this is just silly, but you can't understand anything she's saying.
She's got image coaches.
Yeah.
Got image coaches.
For sure.
No kidding, right?
But yeah, and they've got to be, Hollywood trained kind of folks and whatever. She's like, we ain't never tried it the JC kind of way. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, we've been trying that for years.
No,
But
she's
she
talking about
obviously
herself.
means DJ Jazzy C. So yeah,
I mean, this is so personality centric.
Self-aggrandizing. I mean, just whew, that woman doesn't have an ounce of humility in her entire body.
And she's got nothing to be aggrandizing.
Sure.
I mean, but she's taking a little bit of a book, a little bit from the book of Gavin Newsom.
Yeah.
Jazzy hands, Gavin Newsom.
Great
I'm
teeth, great
fighting.
hair. Yes.
I'm fighting for you. Again, back to the glammed up, attractive people that they glam up who are totally vapid.
Right.
And have no ideas.
Empty. There's nothing in there. There's no substance. And in her case, no accomplishments. What has she accomplished? And getting elected.
She got elected.
Minor accomplishment, right? Like, yes, that's something you have to fight for. You have to work for it. You have to raise money. You have to talk to people, whatever. Okay, fine. Beyond getting elected, what's the accomplishment?
Well, she gets on a lot of talk shows.
True. She is good for ratings.
By the way, did you see this? There's a little, she lives in a very expensive condominium.
Yeah, she's got a couple of places, couple of homes.
Yeah. She's got a lien on one of them.
No way.
Yeah. It's only like $3,000. She's in a dispute with him, but she's going to do it the JC way.
The JC way. Can't wait to see what that is.
By the way, her father is a preacher, very affluent preacher in St. Louis.
Okay.
Do you think that it's a little bit sacrilegious to talk about the JC way, Jasmine?
Oh, good point.
I mean, that's what came to my mind.
Yeah.
What's the JC way?
Yeah, what is the JC way? Because, I mean, when I heard that originally, I was like, whoa, wait. We've never tried. Because that's just where my mind goes. But, and then realizing, of course, DJ Jazzy C has a very different outlook on what
Okay,
that
we're
means.
going to play this again and pause it.
Okay.
Because, this is going to be on a loop. I think we'll keep playing this loop maybe every day. Okay, let's be ready to pause it. Play it again.
Texas turns blue. It won't be because of any one candidate, but because of each and every one of you doing your part. Turning Texas blue is what I want to talk to y'all about today. Now, there are those that say, ain't no way, we done tried it 50 kinds of ways.
Okay, pause. There are those that say what?
We ain't trying it any 50 kind of ways. I think if I pull out my Jasmine Crockett to English dictionary, I'm pretty sure it means we've tried it a lot of ways before.
I think you're right. But that's a good. We should have, we'll have to prepare the Jasmine Crockett to English dictionary to translate.
Right.
Okay, let's continue with the clip.
Let me be clear. Y'all ain't never tried it the JC way.
Okay, stop. Y'all
Let me be clear.
ain't never tried it the JC way.
Is that a double negative? I feel like that's a double negative.
But the JC way. Now, talk about self-aggrandizing. The JC way.
Listen.
You understand what they're going with right here. That's going to be the phrase.
Mm-hmm.
Try the JC way.
Mm-hmm.
It's like.
They'll try and steal it from those of us who know what that actually means.
All right, let's keep rolling.
We used to telling us what I can't do.
Wait.
Hold it.
We
What did
used to telling us what I can't do.
No, we used to telling us what we can't do. Is that it? Did I get it?
Used to telling us what I can't
Can
do.
you get the Jasmine Crockett to English dictionary out?
So
what's that mean?
I think there's a few words missing in that sentence. I put that in air quotes for those on radio. I think it's we're used to people telling us what we can't do.
Okay.
I think that's what it is.
I think that's what it is. Okay, let's continue.
I have no idea what Crockett's crew will do. And so I just want to be clear for all the haters in the back. Listen up real loud. We gonna get this thing done.
Okay,
Whoa. For all the haters in the back. I don't know why she'd have haters at her own event, but maybe she's trying to talk through the interwebs.
All the
to
haters.
people.
No, I'll tell you what she's doing there. She's trying to mimic Trump. When she says all the haters in the back.
Yeah.
what Trump used to do at his rallies. He'd point to
the media
in the back.
Yeah.
She's trying to do that.
I don't know that that's a strategy that's going to work
Jasmine,
the GC way.
People don't hate you. They think you're a moron.
Yeah.
There you go.
End of story.
Back
Good
with more
grief.
after this.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Too much fun. We are here in studio with the official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, the one, the only, E.J. Host. E.J.
Yes, sir.
So you are a refugee from the formerly great state of Minnesota.
Yes.
And Minnesota has destroyed itself.
Yes, and I watched its destruction in real time.
Yeah. Now, okay, how did it destroy itself? Well, I will tell you how it destroyed itself. It had a bunch of these, nonprofit migration organizations who they were looking for a state with suicidal tendencies.
Mm-hmm.
And they found it in Minnesota.
Yeah, it was pretty solidly purple. We had some statewide races
Sure.
that would go to Republicans. They were kind of squishy Republicans, to be fair, but at least they were Republicans, kind of like a Utah Republican, right?
Yeah.
That flipped when they flipped Congressional District 2, which is now Angie Craig, who is running for Senate. When they flipped that from Jason Lewis, Republican, should be a solid conservative district, to a blue district with crazy eyes, Angie Craig and her wife. That was kind of the beginning of the end, like the point of no return.
So it began with this suicidal move to bring into winter freezing Minneapolis Somalis under the Refugee Resettlement Program from the war-torn third world blank hole, hellhole, let's call it, of Somalia, which is totally uncivilized and tribal, and filled with a culture of grift and graft.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
And so, and this really kind of began, I think, in the 90s with the Bill Clinton administration. Whenever a Democrat comes into power, they decide, the Refugee Resettlement Act, I wrote about this extensively at Breitbart for many years. It was established around 1980. It was designed for Vietnamese boat people and others to come into the country, and Russian refugees. But it's been abused dramatically by Democrats in order to bring in basically Islamists who hate us from third world hellholes like Somalia. That's basically it.
Yep.
And then they looked for weakness. And you've got all of these quasi-religious groups like Catholic Charities, Lutheran,
yep.
Immigration Services, and a few others. And they make tons of money from the federal government. There's a process to go through, and they don't really do a lot of vetting. And I wrote extensively about the fact that they didn't vet the health of these people, because a lot of people with latent tuberculosis and active tuberculosis came in. In fact, I documented a decade ago the high rates of tuberculosis, and one of the leading states for tuberculosis increase was Minnesota.
Yep.
Minnesota. They try to hide this stuff, but I scooped it out and I found it and reported it. And frankly, I think the reporting that I did at Breitbart on the refugee resettlement problem and all the Syrians that were coming in 2015, 2016, probably was one of the most important reasons why Michigan flipped R in 2016.
Yep.
And I was working with Steve Bannon at Breitbart at the time, and that was sort of my focus, was the refugee resettlement program. And he told me, he said, look, I knew from your reporting that we were going to win Michigan. And that's one of the reasons he took on the chairman of the Trump campaign back then.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was predicting, and I knew that we would win because of that particular issue. But they bring in now Somalis who hate America. They're many involved in immigration fraud. Reportedly, Ilhan Omar came in when she was 12 from Somalia.
Well, do you know who her father is?
Tell me.
He was a for lack of a better word, a warlord in Somalia. When he lost power, they fled.
Mm-hmm.
So let's not pretend that she was just like, oh, we were caught up in all of this. No, no, no. Your father lost power and fled to America to escape basically whatever was coming
Yeah, and
to
I
him
think
for being a warlord.
they were in like a refugee camp for a couple of years and then came to America.
Yep.
And she came in, and there's all these reports out there that she came in fraudulent. I mean, she came in and then allegedly married her brother.
So that he could get
so that
here.
he
She
could get
actually
here.
said it on a news program.
Yeah.
I would do anything to get my brother over here.
Yeah, and
there
she
was,
did.
The UK was involved in the whole thing, and she did. I mean, it's so documented. Alpha News did a wonderful thing. AJ Kern. God, I can't even name all of the people, but this is part of the problem. There is a news media problem in the state of Minnesota where they just simply won't cover it. I mean, you look back, I've got a full timeline here. I should probably post on X somewhere. Going back 2018, Fox 9 exposes $100 million in childcare fraud. Well, what came of that? Nothing. So they just, and then they just feign all of this, oh, the poor Somalis, and, Star Tribune did a whole thing. Don't blame all of the Somali immigrants for a couple of bad eggs. But the truth is there are dozens of them that are already set to go to jail if they aren't there already on one fraud care case alone, and that's the Feeding the Future.
Well, the other thing, too, about this is that, and I reported on this, there were so many Somalis who were engaged in crime.
Yeah.
I mean, basic, sexual crimes, theft
Carjacking,
carjacking.
15, 16-year-old kids that are carjacking in Minneapolis. Yeah,
because
I mean,
their culture,
it's rampant.
Their culture is, you brought us in here because you're stupid, and we're going to take over your culture and not abide by your laws. Donald Trump has had enough of it. Here he is, clip 8.
Kind of immigrants that you do want to see in America?
They certainly contribute. Yeah, I want to see people. Yeah, I want to see people that contribute. I don't want to see Somalia. I don't want to see a woman that marries her brother to get in and then becomes a congressman, does nothing but complain. All she does is complain, and yet her country's a mess. It's one of the worst in the world. Let her go back, fix up her own country. Somalia, yeah, and I was right about it. I started complaining about Somalia long before the scandal. The horrible things they're doing to Minnesota, it's incredible. They have an incompetent governor there, too. The Democrats are running some bad ships.
Speaking of ships.
Okay, so there you go. He's sick of it. Look, I'll tell you what, and now they're sending ICE up there. The community, it's 100, think about this. The population of Minnesota is like 6 million. 100,000 Somalis have basically controlled the state because it was a purpley state, and now they're all going Democrat. And so the Democrats are letting them get away with anything.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. And they're posing for pictures with them and everything. I mean, this is, you saw, mayor of Minneapolis, Fry.
Soyboy?
Yeah.
Soyboy Fry?
He reminds, why are they all the same? Him and Macron and Trudeau, they all look the same. Anyways, he's trying to eat this.
Yeah, we saw that clip.
Oh, just awful. Whatever.
This goat gruel.
And he dances with them, and he's learned to say a few phrases and things like capitulating. Like, no, we shouldn't be assimilating to their culture. They should be assimilating to ours. If your plan is you're not here temporarily until your country is, no longer dangerous to be in, then if you're planning on being here permanently, then you need to learn our ways.
Yeah.
I would expect to do that if I went to another country. I think that's just good manners. But the other part of this too, so much of this, it's like 28 scandals are all under AG Keith Ellison, who used to hold Ilhan Omar's spot, right?
Right, in Congress.
And Governor Walz and his Lieutenant Governor Flanagan, who's also running for office. And they're all like just I don't even know the right word.
They're surrendering.
They're surrendering the state. That is a great way to put it.
So here's the thing. My view on that, 100,000 Somalis. I've never seen any report about a Somali who's actually creating something and producing something. The vast majority of Somalis are grifters.
Yeah.
They're grifting off the government. And you can, by the Write that down. And if you're from the Somali Defense League, you can call me. And let's give me some evidence of a non-grifter Somali. And that's just, it's a fact.
Yeah, I mean, I lived there. So there was actually a fire at a mosque in Prior Lake, Minnesota. I used to live in Prior Lake, Minnesota. I can't believe that far away from Minneapolis now we have
that's their plan.
A mosque, right?
Yeah.
So they're taking over all the cities.
At
Duluth, St. Cloud, all of them. Rochester.
Kick them out. That's what I say. All right, Minnesota, you have your orders. We'll be back. We'll hear from Susie Wiles and the midterms after the break with the one, the only, E.J. Haas.
Or breakouts and nothing works, it's not your fault. The real cause might be deeper than you think. Introducing Clear Skin Ivermectin Cream from the Wellness Company, a prescription-strength, dermatologist-developed formula that helps reduce inflammation, balance bacteria, and restore your skin's natural glow. This triple-action cream combines 3 medical-grade ingredients for powerful results. Azelaic acid to unclog pores and fade dark spots, metronidazole to control bacterial imbalance and redness, and ivermectin to calm irritation and eliminate skin parasites that contribute to rosacea and acne. Together, these ingredients work to reduce bumps, swelling, and redness while supporting smoother, healthier, and more radiant skin over time. Formulated and compounded in the United States, this FDA-approved cream is trusted by doctors for visible and lasting results. Experience clear, confident skin with the Wellness Company's Clear Skin Ivermectin Cream. U.S. residents only. Head to twc.health/Godzilla and use code Godzilla to save $20 off, plus free shipping.
Attorney General Miyares and John Fredericks talk about skill games.
They're unregulated slot machines.
They pop up in 7-Elevens in every corner of Virginia.
The General Assembly has spoken on this.
Skill games.
These things are illegal.
It's the Wild Wild West. Fights break out. Robberies increase.
Skill games.
They prey on the less fortunate.
I say it's a tax on the poor.
They're breaking the law.
My job is to enforce the law. These machines are not allowed.
Enforce the law and get them out of there.
When you see skill games, call the local sheriff.
These things are illegal.
Paid for by Churchill Downs.
Each of us is born with 30 trillion cells that make us. These cells determine how we feel, perform, sleep, focus, and how long we live. And to live our best life, all we have to do is feed our cells properly. But most supplements don't reach our cells, keeping us from reaching our full potential. Make every cell count with Healthy Cell. Founded with a mission to empower people to take control of their own health at the most fundamental level, the cell. Dr. Vincent Gempapa, world-renowned cell researcher and medical doctor, created supplements that work at the cellular level to support immune health, better sleep, sharper focus, and healthy aging. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of any product. That's healthycell.com, HEALTHYCELL, and use code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Is your pet ready for some pawsome fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
My fellow Americans, I was this close, very close, to buying from the lumber yards. These are sick people. But I turned my head at the last second, and I saw a big, beautiful ad for D.T. McCall's. These are highly respected people. If I had not turned my head at the last second, I would have been ripped off at some lumber yard for $200 in hidden charges, and D.T. McCall & Sons are never going to do that. They'd never do that to you. These are great people. I've known them for a long time. They have great deals, and I just have to say, nobody knows deals like I do. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. These are tremendous people. D.T. McCall & Sons. Check out one of their stores today. Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. In studio, official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, EJ Haas. EJ, before we get into the discussion of the midterms, one of the big differences between Trump 1.0 and Trump 2.0 is stability of personnel.
True.
So let's take, for instance, press secretary. Okay, he had a press secretary at the beginning with Sean Spicer, and he lasted a couple months in Trump 1.0. And then a comms director / press secretary, Anthony Scaramucci.
Yeah.
Lasted for one Scaramucci.
Yeah.
What is one Scaramucci? It's 10 days. That's a new measure of time, right?
Okay.
And that guy was, well, he's clearly a piece of work.
Yeah.
And then who was that? Who followed that? Was that then
McEnany?
No,
Oh, no, she was after.
No, then if Sarah Huckabee Sanders
That's right.
provided stability.
Yep.
And then she left, and McEnany.
Listen, it's a grueling job, man. You just get peppered with like angry reporters trying gotcha questions all day long.
I have to say that of the Trump 1.0 press secretaries, Sarah Huckabee Sanders was clearly the best.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with McEnany, though, either.
She was okay.
She was fine.
She was fine.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, this 28-year-old Caroline Leavitt,
class of her own. She's something.
She's even better than Huckabee Sanders.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, I'll tell you two things. One is she just doesn't back down. She doesn't take it personally. She just says
she
the
smiles
things that are,
and delivers.
She knows what she's talking about and believes it. She doesn't need a binder. She doesn't need no
binder.
cards. She doesn't need anything. She's prepared. I think she's one of those people that has the photographic memory kind of thing.
Yeah. We've got a little clip just to illustrate how good she is. We'll play the Caroline Leavitt clip from this morning right now.
To northeast Pennsylvania tonight, and President Trump is going to give a positive, economic-focused speech where he talks about all that he and his team has done to provide bigger paychecks and lower prices for the American people. And don't forget, a year ago, President Trump inherited the worst inflation crisis in modern American history from the Biden administration, and I have watched every single day as President Trump and his tremendous economic team have been working to fix it, and they have through a very simple economic formula, which President Trump will talk about tonight. Number one, tax cuts. Within 6 months, President Trump signed the largest middle-class tax cut in American history. No tax on tips, overtime, Social Security, and you'll hear stories of everyday Americans tonight who will benefit directly from those tax rebates next year.
Okay, so the point on that, there was not a pause.
Mm-hmm.
There was a smile.
Mm-hmm.
There was an excellent cadence and pacing of delivery. She's only 28 years old.
And she doesn't say That is one of my biggest, like one of the most stressful things that I do when I can see myself back on radio or whatever. And I say which I can't stand. And she doesn't. She's very well trained. And see, I just did it again. Very well trained. And I think she makes nice with the reporters in the room. So as much as they give her a hard time and try to ask hard questions, a year into this now, almost a year, we're seeing that they have a camaraderie about them that I don't think previous Trump-appointed spokespeople have had.
I think it's right. So there's stability in the press office.
Yeah.
And it's not just Caroline Leavitt. You got Stephen Chung, who's the comms director, who's a killer.
Yeah.
And is like fantastic.
Yeah.
The other stability is with Stephen Miller.
Oh, and he's a bulldog.
He is a bulldog's bulldog.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Very sharp guy. But then let's take a look at Chief of Staff. Now, Chief of Staff, oh my goodness, Trump 1.0. It started out with Reince Priebus.
Yeah.
And he lasted 6 months. And then it went to go to John Kelly.
Was John Kelly.
And he lasted like a year, maybe. but the chemistry was bad.
Yeah.
And Reince Priebus, he's a political animal, but he doesn't have the background or experience in business that would have Trump respect him.
He also has too much of an ego, where he felt as chief of staff he was, in charge of everything.
Large and in charge. Well, let me give you an example. The role of the chief of staff can be almost like a quasi-president in some people's mind. So, for instance, the chief of staff for Joe Biden, Ron Klain, he thought he was sort of like the acting president in some regards. And if you go back to Nixon, the chief of staff, H.R. Bob Haldeman, he really ran a lot of the show. But Nixon...
Well, even Obama.
Yeah.
Right? That's another one. So, yeah, I mean, chief of staff can have a lot of pull and a lot of sway. But I think in this Trump presidency 2.0, what we're seeing is, like you said, the consistency is important, but clearly defined roles and who's in charge.
So let's talk about the chief of staff. It's a lot of turbulence in Trump 1.0, but in Trump 2.0, I think it's the perfect chief of staff, Susie Wiles. Now, she's a fascinating person. Part of it is because of her dad, the great Pat Summerall.
Yep, NFL broadcasting for years.
Who was a tight end and kicker for a wide receiver and kicker for the New York Giants in the 1950s, early 60s, and became a broadcaster, teamed with John Madden for 30 years. They were at the top of their game. He was a bit of a problematic father. He apparently, I didn't know this, but had been an alcoholic for many years. And then when she became a young adult, she helped him kind of rehab, and he ended up, reestablishing his relationship with her. Her mom and dad got divorced early on, and the same story. But Susie understands how to work with the president. And she's a political veteran. She'd actually, I think, worked for Jeb Bush and
she understands optics very, very well. Everything she does is quite calculated.
And she knows who the boss is. And when she looks in the mirror, she says, "I'm not the boss." She says, "Donald Trump is the boss." This is a key element of being chief of staff for Donald Trump. You are the chief of staff. He is the boss.
Yeah, I think he's the final decision maker, but he does rely on her and her expertise quite a bit.
He likes her.
And more importantly, everyone who works at the White House and who works for the cabinet, any of the agencies, they all know that if Susie Wiles says do it, she has the backing of the president. He backs her as much as she respects and backs him.
And in contrast, so when John Kelly, the general, came in, he thought he was the boss, and he disagreed with the president on policy, and it didn't go well. And they had just huge ego clash. You don't want to do that with a strong president, someone as strong as Donald Trump. Now, here is Susie Wiles talking about the midterms. And by the way, the other thing about Susie Wiles, remember when he got elected, election night? He praised her and said, Susie, come out and talk. And she smiled and said,
"No, I'm good.
I'm good, Mr. President." Well done, Susie. Okay, here she is now talking about the midterms.
He's going to have a fun next year, but we're going to put him on the campaign trail too. Typically, just a little bit of campaign speak, if I may.
Yeah.
Typically, in the midterms, it's not about who's sitting at the White House. It's you localize the election.
Right.
And you keep the federal officials out of it. We're actually going to turn that on its head.
Good.
And put him on the ballot, because so many of those low propensity voters are Trump voters.
Yes, they are.
And we saw a week ago Tuesday what happens when he's not on the ballot and not active. So I haven't quite broken it to him yet, but he's going to campaign like it's 2024 again.
Oh.
For all these people that he helps. He doesn't help
Okay,
everybody.
so she actually had broken it to him.
Yeah.
She didn't say that.
Of course, she's not going to speak out of turn.
That was not her just sitting there saying, "I haven't broken." Yeah, she's broken it to him.
So here's
that was all.
You know what we don't hear a whole heck of a lot about is the 250th anniversary.
Not yet.
And all of the big things that are planned for 2026.
Yeah.
I do think that will help the midterms a lot. People will have a sense of, camaraderie and just this America first, this pride in our country. We'll be rooting for America, for sports, the Olympics, FIFA Cup, even though it's probably a long shot, but still,
Yeah.
You always hear it's soccer teams playing against football teams, right? But regardless, we're going to have this sense of pride in our country that I think will help, regardless of everything else that's going on. But she's absolutely correct that Trump has to play a role. Obviously, look at what happened right here in Middle Tennessee. Until Trump threw his weight and his voice and, was part of the ads and was part of the, town halls and all the things, it was kind of a slow-moving race. I think they learned we better get behind these candidates at the White House.
Yeah, I think you're right that the 250th anniversary is going to be used by Republicans for political advantage, as it should be. But we're going to do our part here because we are resuming the National Constitution Bee.
Oh, that's right.
And so we're going to push that out. And part of it is because I think you're going to do. There's a Turning Point USA event coming here. We're actually talking to them and Young America's Foundation about getting our Constitution book into the high schools.
Nice.
Because they don't know anything about it. And the teachers there are not teaching them the right stuff.
Right. It's not part of the required curriculum the way it used to be. So I think that's wonderful. But I do have I have a surefire way to win the midterms without all of this fluff and the other stuff.
Tell me.
3 things. Get some wins in Congress. In other words, pass the agenda, codify the Trump agenda.
Okay.
Make that happen. Number 2, arrest someone, anyone associated with Epstein.
As long as they're guilty of something.
Right. But come on, that should be pretty easy to figure out.
Number 3?
And number 3 is pass a budget.
That'll be the hardest. Back with more after this. Birthright citizenship.
Yikes.
We'll be back with the one and the only E.J. Haas.
Ponder this. Do you ever pray to God for something you really want or need? Do you ever feel like your prayers were never heard or answered? Maybe you are praying for your favorite team to win a championship game, only to come up short and settle for runner-up. Perhaps you prayed for a promotion that you were passed over, and there's always the lottery ticket purchase. Praying for a winning $1 million ticket? In these circumstances, you might feel like your prayers were not heard or answered. Don't be discouraged. Your prayers were heard and answered, just that the answer was no. You see, the Lord answers prayers in the same way a good father answers requests from his children. Even Jesus was turned down in the prayer to his Father, requesting to let the pain and suffering from the cross pass from him. However, the Lord added to this request, "Not my will, but thy will be done." With every prayer of petition, consider ending it in this manner: "Not my will, but thy will be done." The Lord hears and answers all prayers. It's just that sometimes he says no. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am Passionately Catholic.
Is your fur maybe looking a bit rough? Transform them from shaggy to snazzy with Be Fur and After Pet Grooming in Marietta, Georgia. Their top-notch groomers pamper your pups with baths, custom cuts, and nail trims that'll have them strutting like show dogs. From mobile grooming vans to their cozy salon, they'll make your pet spa day a tail-wagging blast. Book now at BeFurandAfterGrooming.com. Be Fur and After, where pets go from grr to glamorous.
Let's be real. Losing weight isn't just about looking good. It's about taking back control of your overall health. 42% of adults in America are classified as obese, and obesity is directly linked to severe health issues. If you've tried diets and different workouts with no success, it's not your fault. Big Food and Big Pharma have rigged the system against you with contradicting information, leaving you confused. But there's good news. The Wellness Company just launched Drop, a GLP-1 peptide oral drop formula developed by their chief medical board, specifically designed to support your metabolism, curb cravings, and help you shed weight. That's right. No injections, no risk of the severe side effects we're seeing with the Ozempic. Start your weight loss journey today and get $100 off, plus free shipping. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and use promo code Godzilla100. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla100. Take action today for a healthier tomorrow.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby tackle today's biggest issues with a New York state of mind.
We are going to talk about dirty money.
This is a total failure of the media, the journalists, and the Democratic Party.
Treat yourself to a bite of the apple.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
Cats and Cosby, weekdays 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the stations of the John Fredericks Media Network.
And those are the big headlines of the day.
Hi, everyone. EJ Haast here, founder of the Digital Footprint Management Agency and frequent guest on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, here to tell you about GetFoundEverywhere.com. Customers are searching for your business everywhere: Google, Apple Maps, TikTok, and new AI platforms like ChatGPT and Gemini, which is a total disruptor. Traditional search engine optimization isn't dead, but it is on life support. Old tactics don't work anymore. So how can you make your business stand out? GetFoundEverywhere.com makes your business pop on over 50 search, map, review, and AI-driven platforms. With one easy dashboard, manage business profiles, social media accounts, direct messages, even texts and reviews. GetFoundEverywhere.com is affordable, boosts your visibility, and gets your business more customers. It's time to step up your game the easy way. Save time, save money, and get more customers with GetFoundEverywhere.com.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. In studio, official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, EJ Haast. You know, every month I'm liking the current Supreme Court more and more and more. Bannon was talking about this yesterday. 22 of the 24 cases that Trump administration brought to them, they've ruled in favor of the Trump administration.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Well, and that tells me that Trump has a fantastic legal team prepared for these fights, which I think is different than Trump 1.0.
Speaking of these fights, now the Supreme Court is considering the issue of birthright citizenship. And let me begin by, this came about, the constitutional legitimacy, if you will, phony legitimacy, I think, but the legitimacy on the left, arguing that if you are born in the United States, you're immediately a citizen, is based upon the 14th Amendment, which was ratified in 1868, right after the Civil War. You know, there were 3 of the amendments happened very quickly. The 13th Amendment, which freed the slaves everywhere. The 14th, which guaranteed certain rights, and the 15th, which was focused more on voting rights. Section 1 of the 14th Amendment, ratified in 1868, says the following: all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. Now, that's being used by the advocates for illegal aliens to say, well, an illegal alien comes into the country and they have a child, that child is a citizen. Representative Grothman from Wisconsin, used to be your neighbor.
My neighbor.
Has a very different view of that. Let's hear his clip right now.
I want to point out that in the 14th Amendment, it does not say all persons born in the United States become citizens of the United States. It's all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. That amendment was passed coming out of the Civil War. There's a reason it was passed coming out of the Civil War. Congress was afraid that the Democrats would try to undermine the results of that war by forbidding former slaves from voting. And clearly that's what the amendment was supposed to deal with. It did not include anybody who just happened to show up here and have a baby and moved on. Any congressman at that time, as can be seen from the debate on the floor at that time, no congressman felt that resulted in what we are now referring to as birthright citizenship. It was supposed to be limited to slaves. You were only subject to the jurisdiction thereof if you were a former slave. A person who came here from France and was just passing through, their child would not become a citizen. That should be obvious.
Yeah, should be. The key phrase, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof.
Right.
Former slaves were subject to the jurisdiction. Illegal aliens are actually not. The only thing that we do with illegal aliens is deport them.
Right. No, that's exactly right. So when you think about that jurisdiction thereof, if you're not supposed to be here and you're already breaking that law, immigration law, then and you're not a naturalized citizen, that doesn't give your child automatic citizenship. That's the argument. I tend to agree, especially given the context of the amendment itself and when it was written and all of that. Take it to another place too. Does that mean that foreign armies that we are considering war with, or simply want to take over our country, invade our country, are we supposed to grant them citizenship because we have a couple of H-1B visas come over and then they just start multiplying? Like that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So whatever we have to do to get this through the Supreme Court and really figure out what that jurisdiction means. It's like foreign diplomats. They can't just come over here and have a child here. They're not subject to our jurisdiction. Yeah. So I think the same would be for two parents or one parent and an absent parent giving birth to a child who is not automatically a citizen.
Well, the Supreme Court will decide it. We'll know in June. I think it's a little more problematic than some of the others, but I'm hopeful.
Yeah,
that
we'll
they'll decide if you're an illegal alien who has a child, that child is not a citizen. That is how they should rule. E.J. Haast, thank you so much for joining us today.
You.
It is really great to have you. Up next, Tom Pappert. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. Back after this.
The Katz and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby tackle today's biggest issues with a New York state of mind.
We are going to talk about dirty money.
This is a total failure of the media, the journalists, and the Democratic Party.
Treat yourself to a bite of the apple.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
Katz and Cosby, weekdays 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the stations of the John Fredericks Media Network.
And those are the big headlines of the day.
What if you had a plan to build income outside your job? At Lifestyles Unlimited, you'll learn how people are investing in real estate to grow their income and make smarter financial choices one property at a time. Right now, join us for just $297. That's a savings of $443 off our real estate education program. Text RADIO to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyle.
On a $23,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
I'm Tammy. I'm from Newport News, and I just won a $5,400 jackpot from Rosie's.
Hi, my name is Kim, and I'm from West Virginia, and I won $99,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
Are you ready? Learn more about Rosie's rewards and jackpots at rosiesgaming.com. Must be 18 or older. Problem gambling? Call 1-888-532-3500.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John
Very thing that Republican strategist Aaron McGuire says the president needs to be doing right now.
Well, there are plenty of economic indicators that show that the Trump doctrine on the economy is working. The American people aren't feeling it. And this is where President Trump, as a communicator in chief, can step in and do what Joe Biden refused to do, which is acknowledge that hardship, talk about what's being done, and show the American people that this path is working.
McGuire was interviewed on the Salem Radio Network. President Trump met with members of the farming community on Monday as he announced a $12 billion farm aid package, something else he's doing to try and address high prices.
Maximizing domestic farm production is a big part of how we will make America affordable again and bring down grocery prices for American families. And again, these are prices that we inherited.
The president says he intends to make it easier for family farmers to resume maximum productivity. A federal judge ruled this week that the president's order to halt all new wind energy leasing is unlawful. That was a big disappointment for EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin.
Wind obviously is an intermittent source. It's not base load power. It is not reliable. And once you produce the energy through it, then you have to store it, and that creates transmission.
Plenty of energy today on Wall Street, where investors have driven the Dow up more than 100 points at this hour. The Nasdaq is up by 42, and the S&P 500 up by about 14. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey, it's Mike Gallagher. The holidays are right around the corner, and you know what that means. Travel, gifts, family gatherings, and a whole lot of spending. Here's a way to get ahead of it all. Call my friends Mike and Brian and the team at Fellowship Home Loans. Rates have dropped again. That means you could refinance, lower your monthly payment, even skip your next 2 mortgage payments. That's right, 2 months with no mortgage payment. Put away the checkbook. Keep that money for the holidays. You won't be making any more payments till 2026. Maybe you're not looking to refinance, but you need access to cash. Well, Fellowship now offers their own HELOC and line of credit. Approval just takes a few minutes, and you can have funds in your account in as little as 4 days. Use it to pay off bills, finish a renovation, or simply get ready for the new year. Just go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
Here's correspondent Rich Thomason with a midday Wall Street business report.
China's trade surplus has topped $1 trillion for the first time for the first 11 months of this year.
Exports climbed 5.9% from a year earlier, while imports rose just under 2%. Data also shows that shipments to the U.S. dropped nearly 29% year on year. As trade with the U.S. weakens, China is diversifying its export markets throughout Southeast Asia, Africa, Europe, and Latin America, with exports still going strong. Economists generally expect China to meet its economic growth target of around 5% for this year. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Federal Reserve policymakers opened a two-day meeting today at which they're expected to announce a quarter-point interest rate cut, balancing inflation concerns against worries about a weakening job market. I'm Rich Thomason.
Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. This year's finalists for the top individual award in college football are official now. Here's correspondent Gethin Coolbaugh.
Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love, Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza, Vanderbilt quarterback Diego Pavia, and Ohio State quarterback Julian Sayin are the finalists for the Heisman Trophy given to the top player in college football. The Heisman Trophy Trust announced this year's 4 finalists Monday night. They are invited to New York for the award presentation Saturday night. Mendoza and Sayin lead teams ranked numbers 1 and 2 in the college football playoffs 12-team bracket. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
Shohei Ohtani has won the Associated Press Male Athlete of the Year award for the 4th time. The Japanese baseball superstar's two-way dominance culminated in a repeat World Series title for his Los Angeles Dodgers. Ohtani received 29 to 47 votes from the AP and its members. You'll find more on these stories at Town Hall.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. We are joined on our Zoom Newsmaker line right now by our lead political reporter at the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network, the winner, along with Christina Botteri and yours truly, of the Dow Prize, the national prize replacing the Pulitzer Prize for best local journalism in the country in 2025. Tom, so you've got a very interesting story up here about the Knoxville Board of Education. They are endorsing free school for illegal immigrant children in the legislative priorities that they're pushing to the Tennessee General Assembly this session. Tell us what this is all about, Tom Peppert.
Well, that's exactly what they're doing, Michael. It's called Free Education for All Children, and it was the 6th of 7 legislative priorities approved by the Knoxville Board of Education in a meeting on Thursday of last week. And they have essentially admitted, multiple of the board members, multiple activists who attended, that this is in direct response to an effort in the Tennessee General Assembly that started in January. And that is the legislation that would empower Tennessee school districts to, well, first of all, require them to obtain citizenship information about their students. But next, it would then give them the option of requiring illegal immigrant students to pay tuition or otherwise refuse to allow them to attend altogether. And they said that this is, I guess, a big, horrible deal for Knoxville students, apparently some of whom are illegal and would fear going to school if such a situation, such a scenario came to pass. But what's interesting about this, what I find to be positive about this development, is they claim that there's rumors coming out of the General Assembly right now that when the legislature reconvenes in the new year, this is going to come back into play. It's already passed, I believe, the state Senate. It's currently tied up in a subcommittee in the House. That's where it was in April when the lawmakers went back home for the year. Of course, it's the second year of the 2-year legislature, Michael. I'm certainly optimistic that the Tennessee Republicans will push this one over the finish line, because what it will do is take a fight to the Supreme Court over a 1982 split decision that resulted in illegal immigrants being allowed to attend public schools.
For free. Yeah. And the case you're referencing is Plyler v. Doe. That was a 5-4 decision. You can tell by the majority members why it was so bad. Those who said, yeah, public schools should provide free education, K-12 public schools, to the children of illegal aliens. Those that thought it was a good idea included William Brennan, far left, Thurgood Marshall, far left, Harry Blackmun, he's the guy who did the contortion that created the original Roe v. Wade decision, Lewis Powell, and John Stevens, who was a Republican appointed but kind of became liberal towards the end. Those who opposed it were Warren Burger, Byron White, William Rehnquist, who later became Chief Justice, and Sandra Day O'Connor. Now, just on that breakdown right now, a similar case presented properly would likely be decided 6-3 in favor of the constitutionality of a law that requires the parents of illegal aliens to pay tuition. It gives the local school, the option of charging tuition. Now, why is that economically important? Well, Jack Johnson, the state Senate Majority Leader, told us basically there are about 90,000 children who are illegal aliens who are in school in Tennessee. And many of them have to go through English language learner programs, and those cost at least $3,500 a year or maybe more. So it's very expensive to provide that to them. I think the odds that this bill to challenge Plyler v. Doe, very likely to pass in the Tennessee General Assembly and be signed by Governor Leahy, which would mean how long after that bill is signed by Governor Leahy would you see the litigation in federal court on this?
Michael, I think hours would be optimistic on that front. I think they would have the lawsuit ready for as soon as the governor's signature is done being applied to the piece of paper.
Yeah, and so I think the timeline on this would be the challenge would come if it passes in the Tennessee General Assembly, which I think it's got a chance of doing, a good chance of doing, and say he signs it at end of April. Well, within seconds, the usual suspects will file a challenge. Tennessee Immigration Rights Coalition, the various equity alliances, ACLU, boom. And there'll be a trial court decision, which will be appealed to a circuit court of appeals, which will then be appealed to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court will take the case. They will grant it cert, as I say, certiorari. And then about 2 years from today, arguments will be made on it. And I think it will end up being a 6-3 victory for rescinding Plyler v. Doe. Your thoughts on that, Tom Pappert?
I would say that's probably how it will happen if the Tennessee General Assembly passes this legislation, and I hope they do. I would say that Jonathan Skrmetti and his team will once again do a wonderful job representing the volunteer state in Washington, D.C., and it will probably come away with a very good thing for the country. You know, some other numbers that Jack Johnson shared about this topic earlier this year. There were 3 million illegal immigrants in the entire country in 1982 when this 5-4 decision came out. Now, they say there's 15 million. Some people estimate it's actually more 20 plus million, and that could even be a low estimate. So you not only have that, but then you also have the complications to the children who then have to experience English as a second language education in their own classrooms, even if they don't need it. This is a bad thing for our children. It's a bad thing for our country. It's a bad thing for our tax dollars. And God bless Tennessee for trying to change it.
I've looked at these numbers recently, and if I'm recalling correctly, reading, writing, and arithmetic scores in the city of Knoxville schools are way down. My question to you is, isn't their job to focus on the performance of kids in their schools and not to provide advice to the Tennessee General Assembly? Why are they doing that?
Well, if I had to take a guess, I would assume it has something to do with how federal tax dollars are divided among schools. Of course, everybody knows the administrators get a bunch of money, and Crom Carmichael could tell us about how the public sector unions benefit from this. But for those who are parents in the audience, you know that there is one day every year where the district really wants your kid to show up, because that's the day the federal government counts the numbers of pupils, and that is what translates into tax dollars. So by essentially inflating their enrollment with illegal immigrants, they are, in my opinion, inflating their salaries.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. And it would be nice if public school boards in Tennessee focused on improving the skill set of students, teaching them how to read, how to write, how to do mathematics. And as we've said, there's a way to do that, and that's by adopting the direct instruction methodology. And I hope that's something that the Tennessee General Assembly will take up and implement properly. Tom, when we come back, you've got an update. Yes, another update on due process rights for that famous illegal alien who now resided in Maryland for a while. Now he's in a detention facility in Pennsylvania. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, some happenings going on tomorrow in court. Back with Tom Pappert after this.
Hi folks, John Fredericks here for Freedom Alliance. Veterans are still struggling with the wounds of war. They came home with injuries that changed them forever. The flag-burning troublemakers in our streets remind me how fortunate we are to have patriots who served and fought, sacrificed, and never complained. We need to support them through organizations like the Freedom Alliance. It's Military Appreciation Month and time to support those who serve. Freedom Alliance is caring for combat veterans and military families. Combat veterans fought in the worst, most dangerous places on earth. Freedom Alliance takes them to nature's most relaxing locations so they can heal. Freedom Alliance gives injured troops mortgage-free homes, new cars, and all-terrain wheelchairs. For wounded vets, there's nothing like the stability of your own home, the reinsurance of a reliable vehicle, or the independence of a wheelchair that navigates snow, ice, beach, pasture, or most any terrain. Let's fight for those who fought for us. Go to freedomalliance.org/Godzilla and make a monthly gift that will improve the life of a military hero. That's freedomalliance.org/Godzilla. Make a contribution today.
If you're like me, most moms find it difficult to prioritize self-care. Hi, it's Colleen, Program Director at the John Fredericks Media Network. With the demands of programming 13 radio stations, it's easy to forget about the things I should do for myself daily. And that's why I started with our company's Women's Challenge with Native Path Collagen Peptides. It's affordable and convenient care in just one scoop a day. There are so many incredible health benefits like bone and joint support, metabolism booster, and hair, skin, and nail improvement. I like to take a moment each day to prioritize myself and indulge in the health-boosting benefits of Native Path Collagen Peptides. I love mixing it up with all the different smoothie recipes, too. Learn more about Native Path Collagen Peptides and read 7 important reasons why you should be taking collagen peptides at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Prioritize your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today and get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
Target.com. Target.com is an online e-commerce tire retailer. We are here to serve the American public with the best possible customer service, the best pricing, and we make it extremely easy. We have many name brands and a lot of low-cost tires. The price is right, and it's easy. You go online to Target.com, Tireget.com, Target.com. You go there, you put your zip code in, all the inventory displays right in front of you. You can call in for help if you want to. We'll help you get the tire that you need. But we will take the tires you buy and at no extra charge deliver them to the dealer right by your house where they will be installed at the market price. It's easy. The best price, the best service. Great people to deal with. Thank you for going to Target.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Tom Pappert is with us, the lead political reporter at the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network. Tom, yesterday you told us that there might be something a-brewing in the Kilmar-Abrego-Garcia case. Well, now we kind of have a bit of a clue. Bring us up to speed on all these details.
Michael, I am less optimistic today than I was yesterday. But even then, if you recall, I said I was hedging my bets that this could be approaching a resolution.
You did use the phrase. You did use the phrase, hedging your bets. Yes, you did.
And now it looks like it's a good thing I did, because there is an ex parte hearing happening tomorrow between Kilmar Abrego Garcia. I'm sorry, not Kilmar Abrego. He's not allowed to go. It's ex parte. It's just going to be the prosecutors with Judge Waverly Crenshaw, the Obama appointed judge, as they are seeking a partial reconsideration of a previous order which is sealed. This is actually what they've been worried about since December 5th. We can now report. On December 5th, the prosecutors submitted a proposed order that they were hoping the judge would sign. This sparked a flurry of sealed filings from both the prosecutors and the defense. To the outsider, it looked as though, wow, could this sealed order, proposed order, could this be a plea deal? Well, it turns out now it is much more likely, in my opinion, to be something related to the evidence. And if you look at what's been happening most recently, Abrego Garcia's attorneys have been asking Judge Waverly Crenshaw to do two things. One, they want this vindictive prosecution hearing to feature Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche to relitigate some comments he said on Fox News back in, I believe it was June, July, sometime in that time frame. The Trump administration does not want the Deputy Attorney General to have to suffer cross-examination from the likes of Sean Hecker and the New York lawyers that are representing Abrego Garcia. Now, the second thing, though, that I think this could actually relate to is the request by Abrego Garcia's attorneys to essentially get rid of all testimony related to the allegation that Abrego Garcia had a sexually inappropriate texting relationship with a 15-year-old girl who he allegedly previously smuggled. Remember, the DOJ, they wanted to essentially bring this in using the phone numbers that Abrego Garcia had said, or it was said about him that he owned these phone numbers, and his domestic violence court claims by his wife. Well, Abrego Garcia stipulated to those claims in a bid to keep the domestic violence out of court, but he also claimed that the sexual abuse allegations had nothing to do with his human smuggling charges and thus should be left out of court. Now, this is one of the witnesses. This is somebody who claims that she was smuggled by this man. I think if Crenshaw went too far in terms of striking her testimony from the trial, that could very well be what Abrego Garcia is, or what this judge is now being asked to correct.
An ex parte meeting between the judge and the prosecutors. Ex parte meetings typically means not all parties are involved, and it's outside the normal course of the legal proceedings. How is it that an ex parte meeting between the prosecutors and the judge is actually allowed? I guess there's a rule of civil procedure that allows it in certain circumstances?
Well, we don't actually know what the justification is, but I was doing some research this morning, and I think there are a couple options. One, the Trump administration has said throughout this trial that some of the information Abrego Garcia wants, especially as part of the vindictive prosecution claim, is subject to secrecy rules. It's national security, it's classified, it has to do with diplomacy with foreign states, it has to do with investigative methods that we don't want alleged MS-13 members to have access to, or it identifies minor victims or other alleged victims of this human smuggling conspiracy, Or it could even be, again, the vindictive prosecution angle. Abrego Garcia wants emails. He wants every text message, email, phone call, voice memo that's ever been said involving the case against Abrego Garcia. And it could be that the prosecutors say, we cannot give him all this information. This can only go to a judge for in-camera review. It will. These are some possibilities, but frankly, we just don't know because an ex parte hearing is so rare and typically wrong that there must be something serious going on. That's all we can truthfully report.
Yeah, this is interesting because typically ex parte meetings, that is, when one side is not part of it, are not allowed. And basically, let me just say what our friend Grok has to say about it, okay? I'm checking this out right now. In U.S. federal courts and in almost all state courts, a judge may hold ex parte communications with prosecutors only in a narrow, well-defined set of circumstances. Any contact outside these situations is presumptively improper. So what's permitted? The situation: search warrants, arrest warrants, and material witness warrants. The prosecutor presents affidavits ex parte to the on-duty magistrate. That doesn't apply, right? Wiretap and electronic surveillance. By statute, applications and orders are filed and reviewed ex parte. I don't think that's relevant here. Grand jury matters, that's not relevant. Applications for immunity or use immunity orders, that might work. Or ex parte national security and FISA matters. Okay. Sealed indictments and complaints. Indictments may be sealed and presented ex parte until arrest. That's not relevant. Victim notification. So it's very true emergency situations. Extremely rare and must be disclosed later if possible. This is a highly unusual ex parte meeting. Apparently, it's being conducted under the rules, but we have to speculate as to what those rules are in this particular instance.
Well, that's right. And it is worth noting that these New York and other lawyers representing Abrego Garcia, they previously accused or alleged that there appeared to be some previous ex parte communications between the prosecutor and the judge. Specifically, I think it is the prosecutors referenced a letter to the judge that was submitted on a certain date. This came about a month ago in a filing, and the defense attorney said, well, how did you get this letter? What is this letter, and why don't we have a copy? So it does seem as though perhaps Judge Crenshaw is willing to engage in these ex parte conversations. One must imagine, again, I'm thinking this must relate to security clearances or national security.
I think it's got to be
for him to grant this.
I think my guess would be it's got to be related to national security. That would be a circumstance. I don't know exactly what the details are of it, but that would be a circumstance where he can do it. Now, interestingly enough, ex parte communications between a judge and prosecutors, when they're secret, are not permissible. We did an entire 90-minute documentary which outlined the prohibited ex parte communications between a federal district court judge, John Sirica, and the special prosecutor in Watergate, Leon Jaworski. Again, we're looking at the due process rights here being asserted by Kilmar Abrego Garcia. This guy, the illegal alien, is getting more due process rights than any citizen of the United States ever got, it seems like to me. Your thoughts on this, Tom Pappert?
Well, I agree with you. And just thinking about what you've read from Grok and what I researched this morning, I'm beginning to settle on the most likely scenario being that the judge was going to order the production of a ton of DOJ internal communications. And if you think about national security, these are potentially communications that involve how the government is prosecuting criminals associated with foreign gangs and terrorist organizations. That's what MS-13 and Tren de Aragua are now. They're classified as terrorist organizations. And the fact that Abrego Garcia thought that he was entitled to all of these internal communications, and now perhaps they're having to go before a judge in an 11th hour meeting to stop it from happening. That is a level of due process that is absolutely astounding. And I think if Nixon's lawyers had known about these ex parte communications and what was happening in them and what the memos were like, and I'm not sure there was fax machines back then, it might have all gone a little bit differently.
Are his highly paid attorneys, Kim Abrego Garcia, are they filing a complaint about these ex parte meetings between the prosecutors and the judge tomorrow?
They have not. Again, about a month ago, when there was an allegation of an ex parte communication, they sounded the alarm, which was rare for them. They've been very complimentary toward Crenshaw, from my view, but there's been nothing yet today. Again, I have a hunch that the previous order was very, very favorable to Abrego Garcia, and the only reason why Crenshaw is holding this 11th hour ex parte meeting is because he may have indeed overstepped to help the El Salvadoran alleged human smuggler.
May have. But
may have.
Meanwhile, our friend, U.S. Attorney nominee Braden Busek, is still waiting for his confirmation by the United States Senate. That may happen in the next week or so, but we'll see. And, you know, he's going to basically take a particular perspective on this that may not be the perspective currently being applied. All right. Tom Pappert, thanks so much for joining us today. Outstanding work.
Thank you, Michael. Always a pleasure.
All right. Well, when we come back, we'll hear from Randy Weingarten about what the teachers' unions really think. Back after this.
EJ Haast here, founder of the Digital Footprint Management Agency and frequent guest on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, here to tell you about GetFoundEverywhere.com. Customers are searching for your business everywhere: Google, Apple Maps, TikTok, and new AI platforms like ChatGPT and Gemini, which is a total disruptor. Traditional search engine optimization isn't dead, but it is on life support. Old tactics don't work anymore. So how can you make your business stand out? GetFoundEverywhere.com makes your business pop on over 50 search, map, review, and AI-driven platforms. With one easy dashboard, manage business profiles, social media accounts, direct messages, even texts and reviews. GetFoundEverywhere.com is affordable, boosts your visibility, and gets your business more customers. It's time to step up your game the easy way. Save time, save money, and get more customers with GetFoundEverywhere.com.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
My fellow Americans, my good friends, I've known them for a long time, at D.T. McCall & Sons have the deal of a lifetime for you, and nobody knows deals like I do. That much I can tell you. Nobody knows deals like I do. The lumber yards, they can hit you with hidden charges for up to $200 extra. They'll charge you for cords and hoses and haul-offs. Your money goes all over the place and out of the state, and most importantly, out of your pockets. How do they get away with that? I don't know how they do that, but on day one, if you buy from McCall's, we are going to stop the hidden charges as soon as you buy it. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. Head to one of their stores today or check them out at dtmccalls.com. You're going to love it, believe me.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. Our phone number is 615-814-2848. 615-814-2848. Did I get that right? I think I did. We actually, sometimes we take calls and sometimes we don't. Right now, this segment, we will take calls. The theme of this segment is same old from the Democrats. Oh, Republicans are terrible. It's all their fault. And then when you listen to them, they don't make any sense. Let me give you an example of that. Here is the teachers union head, Randy Weingarten, whose real job is to get more money for teachers unions and to get more Democrats elected, and has zero zip nada interest in improving the reading and writing and mathematics scores of American children. Here she was in an interview with Politico yesterday.
I do wonder what you think, like looking back to that tumultuous period of time. Do you think that teacher unions and Democrats have done enough self-examination in the role they played in pandemic school closures? Like, were there mistakes made?
Yeah, of course there were. And there were mistakes made by everyone. There was huge mistakes made by the Trump administration to not be clear, to not focus on safety as they were focusing on reopening it. Reopening became political, not became something that we all should have prioritized.
Reopening became political. I mean, who shut the schools down? Really, it was the teachers unions, and those poor kids during COVID. What was early on development? You cannot, if you miss some of that early on development, if it's for reading, writing, arithmetic, or you're developing a skill in sports or some other skill, you just can't get it back, and that's a problem a lot of these kids are having. Now, another example of the tone-deaf Democrats. Do you know who Neera Tanden is? She was like a top policy person in the Biden White House. She's out doing the whole, meme, of affordability is Trump's problem. Really? Inflation went up, skyrocketed under Biden. It's coming back down, but she's trying to claim, the problem is Trump and tariffs. Scott Jennings set her straight on that. We'll tell you that for sure. Here we go. Let's go clip 16 right now. Scott Jennings.
Of course, the whole issue with the bailout of the farmers is if we didn't have these actually counterproductive tariffs, you wouldn't have to take taxpayer money to actually bail them out, because China's response on the soybeans is because of the president's tariffs policy.
I know all of human history started in January of this year, but I could take you back 4 years when input prices for agriculture, from fuel to materials to you name it, went through the roof. I know you know a little something about it because you worked under Joe Biden when it all happened. So these farmers, they're in a 10-month period here with Trump, but they just came out of a 4-month period where they were dying under the inflationary and affordability crisis caused by Democrats. They support this president. They like what he did today, and they're going to give him a little latitude to get out of it.
I don't think that's accurate when you hear from farm bureaus.
You don't think it's accurate that inflation happened under Biden?
I'm sorry, Donald Trump talked.
Yeah, inflation happened under Biden. But this is what the Democrats do. I mean, they just lie, straight up lie. Now, one of the biggest liars out there is Jasmine Crockett. We talked about this with E.J. Haas to a degree, but the big lie of Jasmine Crockett is that she's, the claim here is that she's somehow from the hood, from the ghetto. No, she's not. She had a very affluent upbringing, and Benny Johnson has a clip that sort of goes into what her background is. Let's go. Clip number 7.
Yo, what's up, guys? We are in Dallas, Texas today in the heart of Jasmine Crockett's district. It is rough, it is tough, it is hood, and it is foul, just like Jasmine Crockett. That's the whole persona, right? Puff talking, street fighting girl from the ghetto. That's Jasmine Crockett's entire aura, the attitude,
Looks like in the shitter to me.
the volume.
Don't tell me to calm down.
Calm down.
Because y'all talk
Calm
noise
down.
and then you
You're
can't
out of
take
control.
The voice.
You know, the congressional seat is over 4 times as large as my House seat.
I'm trying to get clarification.
But there's a little problem with Jasmine. It's all a lie. She's code switching. She's a fraud, and we can prove it today. This is where Jasmine says she's from, but this is where Jasmine's really from. Welcome to St. Louis, Missouri, Jasmine Crockett's hometown. But let me show you where Jasmine Crockett's really from.
Welcome to St. Louis, specifically the Republican suburbs of St. Louis, with the mansions, country clubs, and private schools. This is where Jasmine Crockett was raised. We're talking quiet suburbs, manicured lawns, college brochures in the mailbox, and neighbors who wave when they mow the lawn.
This is where Jasmine Crockett went to school. It's called the Mary Institute and St. Louis Country Day School. It's one of the most prestigious institutions in the entire country, also one of the most expensive. Check this out. This isn't just a good school. This is the #1 school in the entire state of Missouri. It costs $35,000 per year to attend high school here. And the reason why is because the average test scores here guarantee your placement in an elite college institution. It's one of the best preparatory schools in the world. The average SAT score here is 1350, and the average ACT score here is 30. This is an elite institution. Did your high school have its own private Wimbledon? How large was your high school's lacrosse field? This lacrosse field is expensive. Did your high school have its own aquatic center on site? Can Jasmine Crockett swim? She has no excuse because she went here. This is where Yasmin learned to play clarinet by the apple tree on this beautiful campus of the Mary Institute, St. Louis Country Day School. Did your high school have its own private dock and pond teeming with colorful fish and wildlife? I think not. Neither did mine, because we're poor. But Yasmin is elite. After graduating from this elite country day school, Jasmine Crockett was immediately accepted at another elite institution, Rhodes College in Tennessee.
Rhodes College is a private liberal arts school that looks like Hogwarts and costs a whopping $74,000 per year. That makes Rhodes one of the most expensive colleges in America. There are only 2,000 students enrolled at this institution, nestled in the rolling leafy hills of Old Memphis, and Jasmine, from the block, is one of them. But the elitism did not end there. Jasmine went on to attend and graduate from the University of Houston Law Center, where tuition runs a whopping $40,000 per year. In total, Jasmine Crockett's elite education cost close to $1 million just to talk like this on national TV.
Donald Trump is a piece of shit. Okay, we know that. In a functioning democracy.
Tisk, tisk. What would Yasmin's English instructors here think of her now? Ah, how time goes by. I forgot. Jasmine Crockett didn't always used to talk like a hood rat. For most of her life, Jasmine talked like this.
I just got to Austin, and I had to meet 5 people to get here.
After graduating law school, Jasmine went on to start her own law firm. She got elected immediately to the Texas State House and then moved swiftly to the U.S. Congress with the help of just a few foreign billionaires along the way. And now she's polling for president in 2028. If anything, Jasmine Crockett's life story is not a condemnation of systemic racism in America, but the true definition of obscene American privilege, that anyone from anywhere can be and do anything. This isn't started from the bottom, now we're here. This is started from the Neighborhood Watch, and now we're in the HOA. Here's what your average street looks like in South Dallas, where Jasmine Crockett represents.
Best part about Jasmine Crockett's district is free public bathrooms. Think about it. That's where your tax dollars are going. Man, someone was having a cookout right here. Pan and the charcoals are ready to go. Jasmine, why did you invite us to the cookout? Look, there's the pans. And here's the rest of the cookout right here.
And here's what your average street looks like in St. Louis, in the suburbs where Jasmine Crockett's from. Here's what a school looks like in South Dallas.
Here's an elementary school in the heart of Jasmine Crockett's district. Let's go ahead and check on the environment in which these kids are learning. You have burned down buildings in every direction. Nothing's open. FDJT has been tagged on this building. Everything is just blight. Everything is been destroyed. Empty booze bottles sitting in the parking lot. Did Jasmine Crockett write FDJT? Maybe
okay, so that clip was a little longer than we thought, but very well done. It probably came across. It came across much better on video, but you kind of get the point. Benny Johnson spent a long time working on that video. I know that because, we've done the documentaries on Kim Arbreco Garcia and on how the deep state took down Richard Nixon. It's a lot of work to do that level. And, they had to fly to Dallas. I don't know where Benny Johnson is based. I don't think he's based in either Dallas or St. Louis, but there was a lot of production value in that. And the timing of it was terrific. I think he produced that before Jasmine Crockett's announcement that she's running for the United States Senate in a laughably bizarre combination of a 60-second spot featuring her, all glammed up, looking, serious, like she's going to take on Donald Trump. And then in that really weird speech that she gave last night announcing that she's going to run for the United States Senate. I think the point here to make is, de Tocqueville, when he wrote Democracy in America back in the 1830s, toured the United States, big fan of the United States of America. But he had a very interesting comment because when he came to America, he had the vision of the elite founding fathers, the great thinkers, the Thomas Jefferson, the James Madisons, the Patrick Henrys, the founding fathers, Alexander Hamilton. And when he got here, he remarked at how unremarkable the elected officials were because they seemed to be all about, gaining something for themselves and having a very narrow parochial view of the world. Well, that's been a problem, really, since the dawn of the Republic. And I think the narrow parochial interests are well displayed by the deception, shall we say, that Jasmine Crockett has been perpetrating on the American people about her background. When we come back, folks, it'll be time for News Potpourri. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. The website, TennesseeStar.com.
Tom Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea, a supplement to help you have a healthier heart and stronger cardiovascular system. At Soul Tea, we regularly get emails from our customers telling us how Soul Tea has helped them. Like this one from Kelly. Hello, I'm 58 years old and have had high cholesterol for years. I wanted to stay away from prescription drugs. My husband and I have been using Solti for about 13 months. My results have been amazing. My cholesterol levels went from 291 to 129. I am so impressed with Solti and want to thank you. Now, in my own case, my bad cholesterol dropped from 130 to 89, and that was 20 years ago. I'm 75 years old and I take 0 prescription drugs. To get a great deal on Solti, please go to GodzillaHeart.com, and when you check out, use the code Godzilla to get our best deal, which is 50% off your first shipment and then 3 bottles for the price of 2 thereafter. You don't have to live with a broken heart.
Do you suffer from
Try
declining
Solti
bone and
today.
joint health? Hi, it's Tina with the John Fredericks Media Network. And when I heard about our company's Women's Challenge, I jumped on the opportunity to test this amazing supplement that's already restoring my bone density, soothing my joint pain, and helping me regain lost mobility. I've experienced so many benefits in such a short time with Native Path Collagen Peptides because they support my bones and joints, boost my metabolism, and unleash the most radiant skin and hair since my 20s. In just 2 weeks, my knee stiffness is gone, and I'm already hitting the gym more aggressively. And I get so many compliments on my glowy skin and shiny hair. Native Path Collagen Peptides are so easy to take. They're tasteless, odorless, and mix great with my morning coffee. Read thousands of 5-star reviews at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Level up your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today and get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Well, folks, it's that time of day again. It's time for News Potpourri. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, News Potpourri. This is the portion of the program where we talk about those stories that are of note, don't necessarily merit a full segment, and may have a touch of irony. Well, we're going to continue one little clip here of Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine says, you know, that income tax thing, it's okay for white people, but black people shouldn't have to pay it. I'm kind of paraphrasing it. Let's hear in her own words what she had to say. Clip 3.
Just this past week, I saw, I don't remember which celebrity, but it was actually a celebrity, and I was like, I don't know that that's not necessarily a bad idea, but I'd have to think through it a lot. One of the things that they propose is black folk not have to pay taxes for a certain amount of time, because then again, that puts money back in your pocket, but at the same time, it may not be as objectionable to some people about actually giving out dollars. But obviously then you start dealing with the different tax brackets and things like that. And that's one of the reasons that, you know, we argue the reparations make sense, because so many black folk, not only do you owe for the labor that was stolen and killed and all the other things, right? But the fact is, like, we end up being so far behind, right? And so it's like, how do you bring forth people? Exactly. And so it's like, if you do the no tax thing for people that are already, say, struggling and aren't really paying taxes in the first place, it doesn't really exactly.
They may want those checks like they got during COVID.
Exactly.
Okay. What did Donald Trump say about her? Oh yeah, low IQ. Well, there you go. There's the evidence. Yeah. Do you think there might be a violation of the Equal Protection Clause of the Constitution if black people didn't have to pay taxes and white people did? I think there might be. So here's an interesting story. This is from a publication called The Gothamist, right? A nonprofit newsroom powered by WNYC, which used to be, an NPR. I think it's an NPR station. Zoran Mamdani, who's going to be inaugurated on New Year's Day as the mayor of New York City. There had been some consideration. He wasn't sure if he would move into Gracie Mansion. That's the official residence of the mayor of New York. It's a very, very Tony place, very secure, 5 bedrooms. It has been the residence of the mayor of the city of New York since 1942. That's when Fiorello LaGuardia, by the way, he was a Republican. That's when he, as mayor, had to move in there because of there were some security concerns there during World War II for Fiorello LaGuardia. Well, from the Gothamist, and this is it's on the Upper East Side, which is a very Tony part of Manhattan. Mamdani announced plans yesterday to move to Gracie Mansion with his wife, Rama Duwaji, after his New Year's Day inauguration, leaving the apartment they share in Astoria and ending weeks of speculation about whether he would live at the official residence of New York City's mayor. I think Astoria is in Queens. I think. I could be wrong about that. Quote, the decision came down to our family's safety and the importance of dedicating all of my focus on enacting the affordability agenda New Yorkers voted for. There it is, right? Affordability. Look, Mamdani is a guy who came up with the affordability meme, right? And it worked in a city where 36% of the voters are foreign-born. But it's hilarious. Mamdani's current $2,300 a month rent stabilized unit in a 6-story apartment building became a target for his opponents during the general election campaign. Andrew Cuomo proposed legislation that would have prevented landlords from issuing new rent-stabilized leases to people on Mamdani's current assembly salary of $142,000, but voters rejected that. Now, what's interesting about this is he going to give up his rent-controlled apartment? That'll be interesting, right? I don't see. Maybe he'll sublease it. Is that standard practice? I think it is. Okay, we're talking real estate. Let's go across the coast now to San Diego. This is a fascinating story from the Wall Street Journal. Headline, a real estate tycoon's San Diego exit is turning the city upside down. Donald Brand, whose firm was downtown San Diego's largest office landlord, concluded growth prospects are dim. A famed investor's decision to dump a half-dozen San Diego office buildings is turning this city's image upside down. Donald Bren, the 93-year-old tycoon who owns real estate firm Irvine Company, that's a big, big company, has been offloading San Diego office towers since 2024. He shed the last of his downtown buildings this fall at a deeply discounted price. Bren, whose firm had been the district's largest office landlord, concluded its growth prospects were dim. His vote of no confidence tells other downtown property investors Bren expects the near record high office vacancies and other problems could endure for years. And I think so. I think actually the guy knows what he's doing. Also, other evidence to confirm that the guy knows what he's doing. We just found out about this, right? We just found out about this now after all of these buildings have been sold. Smart guy. Okay, let's turn our attention to college football. They have the finalists for the Heisman Trophy. It's going to be announced, this Saturday? You've got Fernando Mendoza from Indiana. What's his name? Justin Sand from Ohio State, the quarterback. Another quarterback, Diego Pavia from Vanderbilt. And then the running back, Justin Love from Notre Dame. Look, Shadur Sanders, the rookie quarterback, doing pretty well now at Cleveland, said he thinks Diego Pavia should win it. I agree. Let's go, Diego. We're rooting for you. We'll find out Monday who wins. That's it for our show today. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 o'clock. I hope you have a great day. Website, TennesseeStar.com. Stay tuned for Rob Carson. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com. Listen to Michael Patrick Leahy and make America great again.
FlatFeeNashville.com is a full-service real estate brokerage that charges homeowners a upfront flat fee of $999 to completely list, market, and sell your home. We are all about saving consumers money, saving that equity. Nobody should hire an agent and feel like when that agent walks in the door that that agent is more concerned about the down payment on their next Mercedes purchase versus saving the equity that those homeowners have worked hard for. I've spent a career, my entire career, in ensuring that the equity that people save and they put into their monthly mortgage every single month, as much of that as we possibly can goes back to them when they go to list and sell that home. The idea is to give homeowners the ability to really create generational wealth.
FlatFeeNashville.com, FlatFeeNashville.com.